Dear residents, voters of Aljunied GRC, and my fellow Singaporeans, Tacha, Wan Shang Hao! Good evening! Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Vanakkam. Since today I'm speaking on our home ground, I would first like to extend my heartfelt and sincerest thanks to all Aljunied GRC residents. To all Aljunied GRC residents who have elected us, the WP team, into Parliament in GE 2011. And also, big thanks to the Kaki Bukit residents for giving me the chance to serve them. I'm humbled by the continued support you have been receiving, and very thankful for all the encouragement and the thanks and also the prayer that have been given to us. Aljunied GRC residents, you are my inspiration and my teacher, teaching me to be a more humble person through the experience I have gained serving you. Once again, thank you, 谢谢你, Nandri, terima kasih. I would like also to extend my thanks to all Aljunied Constituency Committee or AJCC members for their fantastic commitment and dedications, and a very special thank to Team KB volunteers who have done a wonderful and excellent jobs in serving Kaki Bukit residents. Some of them are here on the stage, like Mr. Dennis Tan, Mr. Terence Tan, Mr. Luke Ko, and one missing, Mr. Chen Jiasi, who is the godson of Kaki Bukit, but who will soon be marrying to the McPherson family on the September 11. Aljunied GRC, voters and friends, I would like to ask if any one of you here remember what is WP's first slogan. Who can recall or remember what is WP first slogan? WP first slogan is towards a caring society. At this juncture, I am concerned and saddened to see the current living conditions of Singaporeans facing daily daunting tasks and overly stressed situations. I believe most of us have witnessed many unsightly scenarios where our society's once graceful gotong royong and kampong spirit is slowly eroding from our sight and being replaced by some ungraceful and kiasu attitudes. What is happening, my fellow Singaporeans? What has caused this change? Fellow Singaporeans, let us analyze. Words of a great wise man. To put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. To put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. To put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life. We must set our hearts right. Words of another great wise man. In every human being, there is this piece of meat. If the meat is clean and pure, the person will be good. If the meat is contaminated, the person will be having negative behaviors. And this meat, or this piece of meat, is the heart. Another great saying, one action and words is the manifestation of one's heart. In short, this great saying signifies that the state of our heart matters most. A peaceful and blissful heart will make a person behave gracefully, and a troubled heart translate into ungraceful and antisocial behavior. So, what influences our hearts to be either a peaceful or troubled one? Psychologists mention that the condition of one's heart is influenced by many factors, and one of it is the living conditions a person is in. What are the living conditions we are in right now? Are we happy with our current living conditions? Overcrowding, high cost of living, or Swiss cost of living, as mentioned by Mr. Yi Jianzhong at yesterday's rally, stressful education system, non-favorable working conditions. Do these conditions make our hearts feeling peaceful or troubled? Fellow Singaporeans, as mentioned earlier, WP's first slogan is towards a caring society. This has been envisioned by the founder of the Workers' Party, the late Mr. David Marshall, back in 1957, even before PAP formed the government. I believe you would agree with me that nation building requires a society to be a caring one. With the right hearts and attitudes, we, Singaporeans, can contribute positively towards the betterment of our nation. So, how can we achieve this caring society? One of the factors that has great influences in the quest of achieving a caring society is the policies that govern our life. Government policies will dictate the living conditions we will be in, presently and in the future. Are the current ruling party's policies able to make us into a caring society? Yes, the answer is no. I would like to share with all of you here 3 scenarios or issues faced by residents which I have brought up in the parliament for the ruling party to consider making their policies a more caring one. First, on HDB rental issues. Many residents came to me to appeal for HDB rental flats. Many of such appeals were made, but the resident did not meet the income ceiling requirement, which currently stands at 1,500 of household income per month. I have cases of couples or families of 3 or 4 who needs to apply for rental flat due to some housing or personal matters, but they were unable to get one because their household income is slightly above the 1,500 mark, or in the range of 1,500 to 1,008. Most of these people ended up renting a room in the open market and pays 600 to 700 a month. Can you imagine a person earning 1,008 gross monthly salary, and after deduction of CPF, his net salary is around 1,004, and he has to spend 50 to 60% of his salary to pay for his room rental? What left for him to spend on their other needs? This is the ruling party's policies. Me and my fellow WP MP's colleague has mentioned in Parliament to review and increase the maximum income ceiling requirement, but the outcome is negative. Second, on COE for Class 2B motorcycles. We received from many residents, especially those from the lower income group, on the high COE prices for Class 2B motorcycles. Residents told us that they need their motorcycles for their livelihood. Ms. Lily Lian and I spoke on this issue in Parliament and made some proposals. In 2013, I called for LTA to consider splitting the COE for motorcycles into 3 categories according to the engine capacities of the motorcycles, which correspond to the Class 2, 2A and 2B licenses, hoping by doing so, the COE price for Class 2B motorcycles will be better regulated. In 2014, I called for LTA to consider abolishing COEs for motorcycles in the Class 2B category. My reasoning is that usually these lower capacity motorcycles are used by lower income persons for work purposes. Sadly, both proposals were not taken up. Third issue is on KIFAS, or Kindergarten Financial Assistance Scheme. KIFAS is a scheme to help children from lower income group to subsidize their monthly kindergarten fees. Initially, this scheme was offered only to PCF kindergartens. The latest development for KIFAS was being extended to the kindergarten run by MOE's appointed anchor operators. Me and Mr. Yi Jianzhong have persistently call for KIFAS to be extended to all kindergartens, especially those run by voluntary welfare organizations and religious organizations such as mosques and churches, but this call was left unheard. The query we have is that why KIFAS only made available to selected kindergartens, basically PCF and MOE's appointed anchor operators. If KIFAS scheme is meant to benefit all Singaporean children that come from the low-income group, it should be extended to all kindergartens and not selectively. These are some of the proposals that WP's MPs have called for in Parliament. We want to ensure that the government policies will enable every Singaporean, especially our fellow Singaporeans who are less fortunate, to feel more empowered by having policies which help to lighten their life-challenging situations. Before I end my speech, I would like to share a bit more on WP's approach to life. It is WP's philosophy to bring humanistic values into consideration when we formulate policies. When such human values are taken into account, only then can our society be a caring society. A simple theory. In order for us to become empowered in our life, we need to first fulfill our 4 human fundamental needs that are psychological, emotional, physiological, and spiritual. On this, I would like to ask all of you 2 questions. First, do the current ruling party policies can help you to fulfill these needs? Yes, the answer is no. Secondly, does the ruling party population white papers will allow you to fulfill these 4 fundamental needs? No. Instead, the targeted 6.9 million population will deprive all of you in fulfilling these 4 fundamental human needs, because it will worsen the overcrowding problems, and this would lead to many more problems. Ultimately, a caring society is what WP has been wanting to achieve since 1957. The 130 proposals found in our party's manifesto is to ensure that your fundamental needs will be fulfilled. The 130 proposals is to ensure that your future will be empowered so we can have a more caring society. Fellow Singaporeans, the title of the ruling party population white paper is A Sustainable Population for a Dynamic Singapore. In brief, the PAP believes that the 6.9 population or quantity is important in achieving a dynamic Singapore. On the other hand, the WP's population policy paper is titled A Dynamic Population for a Sustainable Singapore. This means that WP believes quality matters and not quantity. We do not need to have 6.9 millions to have a sustainable Singapore. All we need is to empower our own people, fellow Singaporeans, you and me, so we can form a dynamic population and champion our way to achieve a sustainable Singapore. Come September 11, vote for the Workers' Party, empower your future. Thank you. Saya Nandri, terima kasih.